I'll survive this. I am not afraid, Omoyele Sowore says in court today. The convener of the hashtag Revolution Now protest and his co-defendant, Mr. Olawale Bakare, were granted bail in the sum of 150 million naira by the Federal High Court in Abuja. The trial judge, Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu, gave the order on Friday while ruling on the bail application filed by the two defendants. Sowore and Bakare were arraigned by the federal government on Monday before the judge on 7 counts bordering on alleged conspiracy to commit treason and money laundering, among other charges. Is the notion of freedom of speech thrown to the wind? Does this mean success for the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress in the 2019 elections? What more could emerge from the charges? Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media networks, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Follow us right now on Facebook. Use the hashtag State of the Nation, and let's get your thoughts in. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has launched the reviewed Force Order 237 to do with the use of firearms. The new order, which was reviewed in collaboration with the International Committee of the Red Cross, stipulates new guidelines for the use of firearms by the officers and men of the Nigerian police force. He made the unveiling of the conference with the senior police officers in Abuja. In an official tweet, the police IG said, "We shall be able to jointly reevaluate the internal security outline of the country with a view to assessing which strategies have produced desired outcomes and those that need to be tinkered with to meet with national policing requirements." Now, is the needed fix measure to address the many challenges of banditry, kidnapping and other crimes in the country as such? Kidnappers in Kaduna have now made contact with families of their victims, and one of the biggest tragedies that has happened in Kaduna State. 6 female students and a teacher were kidnapped on Thursday in the northwest state. What must be done by the authorities to forestall a recurrence? Can the Kaduna State government fish the kidnappers out, as promised by Governor Nasir El-Rufai? We'll focus on that in just a moment as well. Also, the Lagos State government says that it has commenced an investigation into the purported outbreak of an airborne flu in Queen's College and other schools in the state. Where does it stem from? We'll look at this also in just a moment. It's prime time here in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. I am Gimba Umar and this is State of the Nation. The Kaduna State government has confirmed the abduction of 6 students and 1 teacher of the Engravers College in Kako Daji in Chikun local government area of the state. An official of the school reported 6 students and 2 teachers were abducted. Contact has been established by the kidnappers with families of their victims, and what the governor Nasir El-Rufai says is one of the biggest tragedies in Kaduna State. Let's take a listen to the governor.
We have been receiving intelligence from 3 months ago that the bandits have connected with some elements of Boko Haram and they will be targeting schools to kidnap children because they know that that's what makes the news. And we have reinforced security around our schools. But this school, called Engravers Academy, is in the middle of nowhere. Until yesterday, or 2 days ago when the kidnap happened, I did not even know this school existed. As at this morning, the kidnappers have made contact with the parents, and we have got the parents of the kidnapped children and the relations of the teachers to be in one place so that there is one line of communication with the kidnappers to facilitate their release. And I am confident that not only are we going to secure the release of the students and their teachers, but we are going to get the kidnappers by the grace of God. It is always a moment of sadness when young people that are trying to get an education become victims of these criminals. But kidnapping has become so widespread now that for many people it is not news. But for us in Kaduna, this is one of the biggest tragedies.
The Kaduna State Governor, Madam Nasir El-Rufai, joining us from our Abuja studios now to discuss this further and analyze the situation is retired U.S. Army Captain Bishop Johnson and a security analyst as well. I want to thank you so much indeed for joining us. Let's begin with this and analyze the governor's speech when he made that one on the heels of the kidnap that happened on October the 3rd. Now, intelligence, he says, gathered was since 3 months ago, and this has happened. Could this have been avoided, in your view?
Gimba, I'm not getting you very clear. The line is not quite
Can
clear.
if you can hear me now, I'm just wondering, because the governor did said that they got the intelligence reports about 3 months ago, and this has now happened. Do you think this could have been avoided at all?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. That could have been avoided. One thing with intelligence report is, even when you get intelligence report, you need people who are highly skilled, those who are experts to be able to connect the dots. Because when the report come in, they don't tell you, look, we are going to do so and so places. You just get some kind of general intel information. Now you begin to analyze it and try to add one or two together to be able to make sense out of it. Now, though that could have been avoided had we had enough manpower to secure our schools. We've known for a very long period of time that, criminal elements and terrorists, especially Boko Haram, had said that they want to stop our children from acquiring a Western education. And so it means that students will always be their target, like they've always been in the past. So we could have made more effort to ensure that schools, especially in some of these targeted states, security is beefed up 24/7 around those schools.
Well, in the full text, the governor did say also that the state government made efforts, as far as he's concerned, and have deployed security around schools. But this school, he says that he doesn't know about it. As a matter of fact, he has never heard about the school until this unfortunate incident. Do you think that more could have been done along that line? Perhaps there are more schools that the governor doesn't know about.
Well, it's quite unfortunate for the governor to say that he didn't know that school existed until those students were kidnapped. Even if the governor didn't know about those schools, I'm sure that someone in his government should have known about that particular school. And particularly, the governor said the school is in the middle of nowhere. So if the school is in the middle of nowhere, it means that that school probably will be more vulnerable than all the other schools that are located in the population centers. So somebody in his government should have been aware that such a school existed. And because of the location of that school should have been given a priority in terms of deployment of security personnel. So it's quite unfortunate that they were not aware of the existence of that school.
In analyzing this further, the kidnappers have connected with Boko Haram affiliates. That's according to Governor Nasir El-Rufai. This, of course, is reminiscence to the Dapchi and the Chibok situation in the Northeast. What do you make of this one? Can the government bring back the girls in Kaduna?
Can you come again, please? The line is quite, the network is quite bad.
Okay, if you can hear me again, I was just saying that these kidnappers have made contact with the families, and we understand also they have affiliated themselves to Boko Haram, according to Governor Nasir El-Rufai. If you think about it, this is very reminiscent of what happened in the Dapchi situation and the Chibok situation in the Northeast. What do you make of this one? Can the government bring back the girls in Kaduna?
The last part, now what you're saying is that the bandits have linked up with Boko Haram.
Yes, indeed, they have.
Is that what the question
That's what we understand the governor has said, that they have now affiliated, they have affiliates to Boko Haram. What does this tell us when you consider the situation of the Chibok girls as well as the Dapchi girls in the Northeast?
Look, that would be look, Gimba, if that is actually the case, that would be one of our greatest security nightmare in this country, is when we have a situation where these bandits have linked up with Boko Haram and they are conniving or colluding with Boko Haram to commit all these kinds of atrocities. Now, we were thinking that somehow, even though Boko Haram has not been decimated, that to some extent we have already degraded them to the point that they may not be as fatal as they still remain now. Now, if for any reason they're able to link up with these bandits, that means that where their manpower level is going to go up. It means that they're going to be able to carry out more and more attacks, even in places that ordinarily they wouldn't have been able to reach before. They will not have more personnel to get to those places. So it will be a very, very serious, it will be one of our greatest security nightmares in this country.
Let's talk about the solutions now to this kidnapping. The governor, Nasir El-Rufai, calls it a widespread scenario for kidnapping, not just in Kaduna State, across the country, especially in the northern part of the country. We've seen that happened in Katsina as well as Zamfara State. What immediate solutions do you think, or is there an antidote, some kind of formula, a strategy perhaps, that can stop these kidnappings in the country today?
Well, let me say first and foremost, if we are looking for immediate solution, we have to get the citizens involved. The solution does not rest completely in the hands of ordinary citizens. It does rest in the hands of our security personnel. But for now, they don't have that. They don't, particularly the police, they don't seem to have that full capacity to be able to cover the widespread that this kidnapping problems is reached in this country. So the citizens have to be the first line of defense here. We have to try to create some level of awareness among the citizens to get them to begin to work with the police. The police the police needs their intel. These kidnappers do not operate from out of space. They operate right here in Nigeria. They live within the communities, in our neighborhoods. So the citizens have to be educated somewhat, through creating some kind of awareness amongst them to be able to recognize when something ill is happening in their neighborhood. And we have to make it a way that it will be easier for them to report to the police and still remain anonymous, because sometimes the fear is that when they report to the police, they will be exposed and then they become the targets of the people they report, they make report against. So the citizens is the frontline defense right here if we are looking for immediate solution to this. Then we have to get intel that will help security agencies to be able to, thwart these kidnappings before they take place in the first place.
That's a good place to let it rest. I must thank you so much indeed, retired U.S. Army Captain Bishop Johnson, for your analyzing the situation as well as preferring solutions to it. Many thanks indeed. State of the Nation returns almost a year after a student of Queen's College died of alleged waterborne disease. There is another outbreak in the school. Join us again.